Hello. Okay, so what we're going to show you today is, okay, let me preface this by saying that I like Windows mobile, okay? It's just beyond me why Microsoft cannot make a success of a mobile operating system, because really with what they have is pretty decent. But of course, the thing that most people complain about is the availability of apps. So I just don't understand it. For a company like Microsoft, it's like when I'm talking about their Surface RT tablets and why they couldn't make that a success. I just don't understand why they can't make their mobile operating system a success, because it is really pretty decent, and all they need is the plethora of apps that are available on Android and iOS to really get people, and I'm sure people would use it. But it seems that it's on the way out, and probably over the next day or two or week or two I'll be reviewing more than one. So I wanted to review this. This is a wee bit of an odd phone. Now this is the HiSense E260t. Okay, in fact, on the website where I was getting the specification, it's called the HiSense Nana, N-A-N-A. Now this is running Windows 8.1, and why I'm a fan of Windows is, listen to the spec of this. This is got it has a Qualcomm dual-core processor. It's I think it's 1.2, and it has 512 MB of RAM. Yep, 512, and it's 4 GB internal storage, and it's you can put an SD card in. It has dual SIM, but this, I got this on eBay and I paid $29 for it. I figured I like Windows. It's good to keep as a phone for emergencies, especially sometimes I've been caught when I'm selling phones that I need a phone myself. It would be very difficult to sell this to anybody because of the low spec, and because of Windows as well. It's a more difficult sale, but I probably will keep it, just out of interest. Now the phone itself has got a 5-inch screen. Now just let me double check the resolution here, because it's 854 by 480 resolution, so it's not even a 720 screen, but it's alright. I mean, it's really pretty decent, I think. I don't think it's bad at all. Now, as I say, I got this on eBay, I think at $29 I said. This is actually a China phone that is from China Telecom. So one of the SIM slots doesn't work. It's only it will only work in China. So perhaps whoever sold this was maybe traveling in China and wanted a cheap phone. So it really only uses the one. And it's a full size SIM. So I've got a micro SIM on an adapter. Hold on, let me just double check now. I'm telling you the truth here, because it's been a wee while since I've been inside it. Now, yeah, so you can see this. This is the one that's for China Mobile. Actually, I've got a nano SIM in a micro SIM adapter there, but it is a full-size SIM that it takes. Use a replaceable battery, and the battery is, let me see, is 3000 mAh. Now I don't know, I can't remember the last time I charged this. I'm not saying that I've been using it much, but the battery's pretty decent. Interestingly, I don't know why, but they don't have. It doesn't have a front camera. It only has a rear 5 megapixel camera with no flash. So don't expect that you're going to be taking some really fancy photos, because you're not. But you know, look, it is what it is. Now the LCD with that low res, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't even look that grainy, to be honest with you. I suppose if I put my glasses on and really looked, it just doesn't look bad at all. You know, it looks fine. It's not one glass or OGS solution. It seems to be, you know, you can see the gap between the screen or the digitizer and then the screen. So I mean, as I say, I remember I paid $29 for it. So you know, you have to manage your expectations. Its design, well, look, I mean, a few years ago this probably would have been you know, all right. I'm not sure if it has a metal frame and a plastic shiny polycarbonate front and back, but it's not unpleasant to look at, and it's certainly, you know, it's weighty, but it doesn't feel cheap. So you know, it is what it is for $29. What I like, and this is the thing about Windows, and for people who are you know, you can get a really good Windows phone now pretty cheap, and I have a Microsoft Lumia coming, and I have a blue Win HD LTE coming. I'll review them, but you know, for a very quite an old processor and dual core and half a gig of RAM, you wouldn't really notice that there's no Windows just works really well on low specification, and you'll see that with Nokia and with Microsoft. A lot of their cheaper phones are relatively low. They've got 1 GB of RAM is usually it. Even their higher end phones are not like some of the Android. So the mobile operating system on low spec for Windows 8.1 really works well. Now, Windows have an Antutu of sorts, and let me see. I want to just start the benchmarking here. It's not the same as your Android Antutu, so don't expect that it's going. I'm starting it now because I've forgotten what it was. Just, you know, the problem is with the apps, but for, you know, if you're a person who's using core apps like Facebook, you know, some of the other ones, LinkedIn, Twitter, that kind of thing, you know, you can get by. And some of the apps that don't have the native, you know, there's a lot of third-party apps that basically will let you into your Instagram or whatever one it is not officially available. So really, you can get by. You know, you just have to have a look, but in general it is not bad, and really the 8.1 I think is a half decent. Okay, so what does it say here? Scores. Memory 656, CPU integer 3124, CPU float point 2860. I mean, really, it's pretty definitely pretty slow. This one doesn't give us the score like on the, oh no it does, sorry, I'm talking rubbish. I was just looking at the bottom here. So Antutu score on Windows is 7,664. Okay, so it ain't no speed demon when it comes to, you know, the benchmarking, but in your daily use you will not notice much difference. So yeah, I'm just looking here. So I have WhatsApp, Twitter, I have a Tube HD, which is a third-party client for YouTube. It has Office, OneNote, Outlook, there is LinkedIn, which I use for my work, Facebook of course. Now I did notice recently, I'm not sure if it's been fixed yet, so I will need to check it because I haven't downloaded it here, but for some reason Facebook Messenger either was saying that it was not being supported, or you had to update Facebook or something to the latest version, and of course everything was updated, so I couldn't get Messenger to work. So the easiest way for me was I tried a couple of third-party Facebook ones, and they were all right, but they weren't great. So I just signed in on the browser, and I think I saved. Yeah, I saved it here. I made a tile. This is a great thing about. I like the live tiles of the Windows. The Windows operating system. I think it's cool, and you have a lot of customization that you can do there. So yeah, I just pinned, yeah, that's me. I pinned the Facebook from the browser to the start, and then I just I could use the Messenger better from within the browser version of Facebook. So yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not using this all the time. I'm not using it. I'm hardly using it actually. As I say, this will stay as a kind of emergency phone, or a phone to give somebody if they're needing whatever, or a travel phone. Really, I'm not going to sell this because I don't think anybody would buy it. As I say about the live tiles, now of course you can customize it, you can change the colors of the tiles and stuff, and it's just, this is the thing about Windows, we're so used to, if now from say from Windows 8 now to Windows 10 on your laptop, on your PC, on your work, at your work, we're so used to Windows. I'm just, why Microsoft could not make a success, and I believe that they're maybe even stopping the Lumia phones, although there is a rumour that there could be a Microsoft Surface phone coming. That's a rumour I've been reading, but for all intents and purposes, for most people, if they had some better app support, it's good, it's excellent. So I'm just, a company like Microsoft, why they couldn't get it right, I don't know. And people are getting paid big bucks, and they cannot get a mobile operating system, so it's just beyond me. I don't know, but I've always liked it since the new Windows from Windows 8 mobile. I just thought it was good, and the great thing, as I said, that it works really well on low spec phones. So we're having Android phones with octa-core processors, pentacore GPUs, 6 GB of RAM, and they're still stuttering. So it's not all about the specification, although we always want to hear about high numbers, but it's not always about that, and Windows Mobile proves it, that you can run a very decent looking system at a very low spec. So anybody who's looking for a bargain, or who just wants to try, it's worth a punt getting one of the Lumias. I would look for the ones that have not all of them Microsoft Lumias that are having the update to Windows 10, or are not running Windows Mobile 10. Really, you want that, and the two phones that are coming, I believe, either have been updated or can be updated to Windows Mobile 10. So I mean, it's quite important. But you can, Lumia phones, Nokia Lumia phones are still pretty decent. I love them, they're cool. I just had a Nokia 920, which I didn't review because I was lazy, and I sold it. I love the OLED screens of the Nokia, and the Lumia that I have got coming, I'm looking forward to it, because I know it's a nice phone, and I'm familiar with the Windows operating system. I mean, it just takes a wee bit of time to get used to, but I mean, really, it's pretty finger friendly, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist to to work it out if you're coming from another operating system. So as a second phone, to get away from iOS or Android, for a second phone or a travel phone, you know, for the adventurous, it is definitely, and you don't want to pay a lot of money, and you're quite prepared if it was lost or stolen on travel, then you know, Windows Phone is there's just, if you check on eBay and Amazon, you can just see the plethora of phones that are available at really good prices, especially in eBay America, where there's a lot of carrier unlocked phones. I had a Samsung phone which I didn't review either because it wasn't in my hands very long, but it was just really cool phone that was similar spec to, say, the S4, but it had a beautiful full HD OLED screen. It was Windows 8.1. It just looked really, it was just a very cool phone, and it went, I just didn't have it very long. Somebody wanted it when they saw it. So there's also an HTC One that is available. I think that's from Verizon. The Samsung that I got was Verizon, but it was a world phone that was unlocked. You can get them for less than $100. So you're getting an HTC, I think it's the M8. It looks like the M8, but running Windows 8.1, and for less than around about $100. You know, it's certainly for us people who like their tech. It's, you know, they're cool phones. Of course, you know, we don't know what's happening with Windows Mobile, but at the moment it doesn't really matter. It's still going to be around for the next year or two, so and it could be longer, and no doubt there's, if you look at some of the forums, which I have been looking at recently for Windows Mobile, although it's very small compared to Android or Apple iOS, there's, you know, pretty healthy community of people who swear by their Windows phone. So, you know, don't discount it. I'm not saying to use it as your main daily driver. Don't discount it. So, and this HiSense China phone, actually China telecom phone, proves the spec does not need to be high to work pretty fluidly and to you know, operate as a phone with like this in the operation stakes. Works as well as the Nokia that I had recently, the 920. Of course, the Nokia had a far better screen and better build quality, etc. But really, I didn't notice any difference in using both. Both ran very smooth. So, you know, this is a good thing about the Windows 8.1, and now hopefully when we have a look at the couple of new phones that are coming, Windows 10 Mobile. So I just wanted to share it. $29 my buy on eBay. This is the HiSense E260t or something like that. It's I'm not going to recommend it for anybody to buy, but it was 29 bucks. What can you say? Okay, usual questions, comments, whatever. Just post, and I will do my best to answer them. I don't really go into too much about this. Call quality is pretty tinny. It's not brilliant. Actually, the music via my RHA plugged-in headphones is pretty decent from my SD card. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. So. For the money, I'm not going to complain. I imagine this, if it was 5-6 years ago, this would have been a pretty decent phone. Maybe. Okay, that's it. Bye. Power of society.
Try